everyone, Blue Moon Samurai here, along with a Penny and a Dexter, and maybe the occasional Xena. And here we are back to my film, the tier list of the film classes I had, and this is the 5th one. So if you haven't seen the previous 4, just go down to the little list of them, and it'll just be like film class tier list. This class was done with the same professor as the previous list, the conspiracy theories. And this was actually the same semester that COVID hit. So the first half we watched films in class. Second half we were all remote, and so not wanting to deal with technology, understandable. He assigned us to pick 3 films from the films we haven't watched yet and write a review about them as if the review came out during the time these films came out. And then our final assignment was originally going to be presentation on like a cult director or like a director for like cult films, a cult movie that we haven't talked about, cult writer, just something along those lines. But since we didn't do presentations, we had to write an essay, and my essay was on Ralph Bakshi, who I am very, very fond of. May not have created the best films ever, but I have a very special connection. Without further ado, let's get on with the list. Starting with, actually, I think this was the second film we watched in class, and that is Polyester by John Waters. Surprisingly good. John Waters is a director. He's either known for like one of 2 things, depending who you are. First is Hairspray. He made Hairspray, the original. Or his early works, such as Pink Flamingos. He used like low budget filmmaking, just going with like trying to push the boundaries of film. And so Polyester was just kind of like that period where he was moving on from like trying to go with the most gross gross film you could make, and moving on to doing more proper films. And this was actually like one of the first like Odorama films ever, and that was a thing where you went to the theaters, you get like a little ticket with like 10 circles, and you could scratch and sniff them at the appropriate times. So Polyester, what is it about? It's a melodrama, and it's a melodrama parody. So Polyester is a parody of melodramas, and it is the most soap opera-y thing ever. It's so much fun. And it's about a suburban housewife played by Divine, much like John Waters' older films starring Divine. It's like she finds out that her husband has been cheating on her, and so she has to like move on with her life, and her children are no good. It's fun. It was so funny, and I enjoyed it a lot. And surprisingly, like, we actually watched Pink Flamingos, but only like the 20 minutes of story of it. Like, he edited out like the graphic sex stuff, yeah. And there's quite a bit of that, including the murder of a chicken. Pink Flamingos is a weird film, and it is John Waters' first film, and it's about Divine, who is the world's most outrageous, disgusting person alive, and it's about people, like this couple, trying to take that title away from her, and the low budget really helps. Like, I think it helps the story rather than hinder it, because I don't think it'd be as entertaining if it was like professionally made. Most, if not all, of the actors were just like homeless people, and it's like, hey, well, come work on film with me, it'll be fun. And it was fun. I can tell everyone was having fun. Like, no one like acts professionally, or like, no one's a professional actor and And I think that adds to, like, the outrageous story. Though, we did watch, the infamous ending scene where Divine eats dog shit. He gave us a warning. He's like, okay, this is what the scene is. Leave the class if you think you are going to vomit. If you just don't think you can take it. I challenged myself. I didn't vomit. I gagged. Oh my gosh, I gagged. So yeah, it was fun learning, like, my limits in, like, watching films. Doesn't mean I won't still push them, because watched Audition, and that had, like, never mind the needle scene. It was the dog food, or the dog bowl scene that, back to the cult films. Anyway, and we were taught, so for the first half of this class, or this day in class, like, he spent an hour talking about John Waters' like life and his legacy, and just kind of what he's doing now since Waters is still alive. And we watched Pink Flamingos, like, at the end of that hour. Then we took a break and watched Polyester. And that was just how, like, that's how, like, this professor's, like, classes were set up anyway. It's like the first hour is talking about the subject of class. Then we take a break, and then we watch the film. Yeah, let's move on. Oh my gosh, how long was I talking about just that? Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That was fun. That was fun. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, considering I never grew up with Pee-wee. And I was actually, like, late to this particular class, but so I kind of missed the discussion, but oh well. And so we watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and this topic was about Tim Burton, who is the director. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure is about Pee-wee Herman trying to save his bike. That's it. Like, I think I came in right before the Large Marge scene, which is a very, very famous scene, and it's fun. I can see how it creeped out kids. There's not a lot of talk about this movie because it's just like one zany thing after another, and it was just fun. I enjoyed the Alamo scene. Okay, next film is Eraserhead. Okay, it's not a great film, but it's a fun film, and that, like, my enjoyment of it is why I rate it higher than I probably normally would. And so, of course, this class was about David Lynch. This class was about David Lynch, and we watched Eraserhead. So Eraserhead is a 1977 film about this, I think he's a pencil maker, and he's just trying to deal with, like, work, his girlfriend, his new kid, who's a mutant child. It's kind of creepy looking, I'll give you that. But this film was surprisingly funnier than I expected, and I didn't expect the film to be funny. Like, the dinner scene with his girlfriend's parents, I thought was hilarious. And Jack Nance's performance as the main character, who's Henry Spencer, he made some of the funniest expressions, and it's a surreal film that doesn't really have a lot to talk about. It's just funny. Next film is Spirited Away, which was one of the films I picked for the 3 films to watch out of class. It's a great film. It is. There's not much to talk about. It's about a little girl who, she and her family are moving to a different place. They get lost along the way, and they find this old, like, gate. So her parents decide to just kind of explore, and so she unwillingly tags along. And they're caught after night, and her parents are turned pigs, which still disturbs me to this day. Like, I have a story to talk about later. And it's about her having to work in a bathhouse to reclaim her parents, to rescue her parents and get them back to the human world. Because at night, the spirits take over. I didn't watch Spirited Away for the longest time because it showed on Cartoon Network like one time, like a long time ago, and I was like, at least 6. I saw their parents turn to pigs, and I got scared, so I just went upstairs, and I just sat on my bed trying to figure out, what do I do now? I can't go downstairs, that scary film's downstairs. And apparently, they turned off the film, like, pretty shortly after, because my sister was scared too. It wasn't until, like, I think I was a freshman in high school that I decided to, like, I borrowed the film from a library and watched it by myself. Still hate that scene. It still creeps me out. I hate it so much. But I did get through the whole film. Loved it. I just wanted to watch it again for this class. And I did. And that week was actually, we were supposed to talk about outlaw animation. Spike and Mike animation festivals. Yeah, right. Evil Dead 2. Fuck yes. So, okay, Evil Dead 2 is about Ash Williams, the sole survivor of the first film. Spoiler alert, but if you are not familiar with the Evil Dead franchise, I'm sorry. You need to get yourself familiar with it. And so, Bruce Campbell, Ash Williams, he has to return to the lodge that his girlfriend, his friends were killed in, and, like, he's there to, like, get revenge. And it's more of an action-y than film, rather than, like, the horror that was the first film. And I actually watched the first film first, and then this movie. Just because I haven't seen the first 2 films, I know I was late to the party. And I love them. I love them so much. They're so, like, the first film is actually pretty decent horror, if you want my opinion, which is probably not much, but, and then the second film is more action-y, and you get a lot more of, like, the classic Evil Dead comedy, like, and Bruce Campbell, I love him. I want to marry him. I'm sorry, Zero, I'm gonna marry Bruce Campbell. And despite not having watched the first 2 films until, like, this class, I have such a big love for the franchise because I grew up watching the 3rd film, Army of Darkness, with my dad, and it holds a special place in my heart, and the humor, I just love it still. And, like, when they revamped like the franchise with a series called Ash vs. the Evil Dead, so fucking good. Oh my god, that one episode, I think it was in season 2. Oh, I don't remember what the episode was called, but that was mind fuck, where, like, Ash is, like, put in, like, an asylum. That's a mind fuck. Alright, it's probably not gonna show up too well here, but I have a picture, like, I'll show a picture afterwards, and, like, I'm gonna talk about it. But I went to my first convention this summer, and yeah, that's not gonna do well. So I went to my first convention this summer, and I met a horror artist. His name is Gabriel Middleton. And he does a lot of, like, fun, like, horror movie crossovers. Zero actually pointed out this image this picture he had displayed, and I fell in love, and he even signed it for me, and so it's Ash Williams versus Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre versus the main girl from Lollipop Chainsaw. It's so kick-ass. I'm gonna have a picture here, and I'll link it to his, like, Instagram. Like, he needs more followers. His art is so fantastic, and And like he was also sharing like a very like how the Evil Dead franchise is close to him and like him and his dad, and I respect him, man. And I again, link will be in description, it'll be in pinned comment. Send love his way. Like he's fantastic. All right. I've been talking a lot, man. All right, next film is The Big Lebowski, which I watched. This is the second time I watched it in a class, and I actually watched it recently to show Zero. If you don't remember, in my first film class video, I talked about how I need to show it to them. They didn't care for it, but that's okay. So, upon second viewing, I actually enjoyed The Big Lebowski more. Upon third viewing, not so much, but I still enjoy it more than like the first time I watched it. Yeah, the dude abides. Next film, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Murdered. Somebody's responsible. This film for so long has been deemed as like the worst movie ever made, and it's gained a cult following just because it's so fucking funny. So it's a classic Ed Wood film. It's about aliens? Zombies? I'm not too sure. It's like aliens and zombies. Like Bela Lugosi's in there for like a few moments. The third film I picked was This is Spinal Tap. And it was a film I've been wanting to watch for a while. I was kind of disappointed. I didn't care. Except for the scene where like this amp goes up to 11. That's a good scene. That was a funny scene. But it's a mockumentary about a band called Spinal Tap, an English band, a British band. And it's about their antics. Final film, Welcome to the Dollhouse. This was the first film I watched, and it's my favorite description of this movie is the most uncomfortable coming-of-age movie you'll ever watch. And I think that is accurate. It's about the middle child of this family who's just going into middle school, and like she's trying to like fit in. She's kind of dorky, and her older brother is super smart and like he's going to some top university, and then her little sister is so adorable and a ballerina and she can't do anything wrong, and our main character is just ignored. And while you might not be like in the same situation as her, you might never have been like in similar situations, it's weirdly relatable. It is uncomfortable. I recommend it. It's hard to watch, but it's a good movie. The other films we were supposed to watch were Sharknado, and he was saying about how he might change that one up. Duckman or The Twilight Zone. Clerks, which is a movie I've seen before, and I find it relatable, especially once I started working in retail. The scene where like has a montage of like customers asking dumbass questions is so fucking relatable. It's one of the best scenes ever. And then Dazed and Confused, which I have not seen. This was a fun class. I wish the pandemic didn't hit. I think it'd be fun to watch, have this full class. It's opened my mind to a lot more interesting films. Films maybe I wouldn't have watched otherwise. I hadn't heard of Welcome to the Dollhouse. Probably wouldn't care to watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Probably never heard of Polyester. I've been debating playing Flamingos and mostly been shunning it. That's it for the cult films tier list. I'll have you seen any of these films? Just talk about it in the comments if you want. Link to the tier list will be in the description, as well as my link tree, which includes stuff like my Twitter and my Instagram and all that fun stuff. I'm also going to link Gabriel Middleton, and I'm going to link his Instagram in the description, as well as I'm going to pin a comment. So thank you all for watching. Hope to see you next time when we're getting to the end. We're almost there. 2 more classes to go. With that, hope you all have a good one. Hope to see you all soon. Bye. Motherfucker. Hello everyone, Blue Moon Samurai here, and there's a Dexter. Penny might come in here occasionally. You might hear Zini outside. Hello everyone, Blue Moon Samurai here. God damn it, Dexter. Hello everyone, Blue Moon Samurai here, along with Penny and Dexter, and there's a Zini down here. Yes, hello. Hello, beautiful girl.